It is time to celebrate, ladies and gentlemen. The SEC's promise of a lasting truce with Ripple has the entire cryptocurrency community talking. For more than 4 years, we have been anticipating Ripple's success, and at last, that day has come. It is now time for all investors to exhale. Naturally, specialists who have remained silent are suddenly forecasting XRP's future rise. According to many, XRP's price may reach $10,000. Quite awesome, isn't it? Watch this video through to the end. Let's get right to the point without further ado. Disclaimer. The SEC finally dismissed its case against Ripple after more than 4 years of litigation, ending one of the most well-known and contentious cryptocurrency trials ever. For Ripple, this ruling does more than simply end a chapter. It might signal the start of a new chapter in U.S. cryptocurrency regulation history. Beginning in December 2020, the SEC's action against Ripple focused on the allegation that the company's selling of XRP Ripple currencies amounted to an unregistered securities offering. However, Ripple has said that the SEC was attempting to implement regulations that were not specifically relevant to digital assets. As the dust settles, it seems that the argument has won out in the end. The SEC has not only dropped its appeal against Ripple, they've now dropped every case against every crypto company in the United States, said Stuart Aldro, the chief legal officer of Ripple, in a statement that went viral in the cryptocurrency world. Why? Because the SEC has acknowledged what we have long maintained, which is that you cannot file an enforcement case for breaking the law without first defining it. Furthermore, this nation has never had explicit laws, rules, or regulations pertaining to cryptocurrency. This goes beyond simple legal validation. It is a glaring indictment of the SEC's long-standing approach to crypto regulation. Rather than providing advice, the agency has litigated against businesses, putting its legal interpretations to the test. That larger struggle was represented by the lawsuit against Ripple. The SEC abandoned its Ripple investigation because, in the first place, there were no clear laws in place, according to cryptocurrency commentator Skipper. This supports what many in the sector have been saying for years: that regulatory ambiguity, not bad actors, is what is stifling innovation. The political landscape is shifting at the time of Ripple's win. In Washington, the conversation on digital assets has changed since Donald Trump has returned to the political limelight. Lawmakers are starting to realize that the U.S. could lag behind other countries in the global blockchain innovation race. Trump's presence has obviously sparked movement throughout federal agencies, regardless of whether his influence had a direct impact on the SEC's decisions. Some analysts think the SEC's retreat represents a larger reevaluation of how crypto will be addressed going ahead. In his X video, Aldro clarified that Ripple isn't about rejoicing in a victory. It is prepared to take the lead. The mess will be cleaned up by us. Leaving the courthouse is our plan. We will resume our business operations. He encouraged Congress to intervene and provide clarity to a rapidly expanding business and called for rational, transparent regulation. He wasn't simply speaking to Ripple's investors. It was intended for all blockchain-related startups, developers, and innovators. He is pleading for a time when business owners won't be viewed as criminals for creating innovative financial instruments. The last details are still coming to light. According to a Fox Business reporter, the SEC is anticipated to make a formal press statement as soon as the court approves the withdrawal, a Ripple commentator pointed out. However, the message is already very apparent to XRP holders and cryptocurrency supporters. Ripple is still standing once the case is over. After being in legal limbo for a while, the digital asset can now return to the market without the burden of regulatory ambiguity. This choice has far-reaching effects that extend beyond Ripple. It is a symbolic turn away from strict enforcement and toward more transparent regulations. Now that XRP might be back on the U.S. market, it might lead to a surge of institutional interest and relistings on major exchanges. Furthermore, this result is more than just a legal victory for the entire crypto community. It's an indication that the struggle for reasonable regulation is beginning to bear fruit. The true excitement starts right when you believe the drama in the courtroom is gone. XRP isn't simply getting away with it. It's entering a completely different spotlight. It wouldn't be crypto without some audacious predictions, of course. With their outrageous predictions and astounding price projections, industry analysts are already lighting up X. Some others believe that this marks the start of a full-scale XRP comeback. I promise you will be astounded by what they have to say next. Therefore, some people think that XRP is ready for a once-in-a-lifetime breakout, echoing a sentiment that is spreading throughout the community, Steph tweeted. I feel a massive XRP breakout coiling up. There's a noticeable tension. Longtime investors have been encouraged by XRP's months-long hanging below 2.3, while short-term traders have been frustrated. They're not flinching, the big players. Well-known XRP influencer Barry C. recently made headlines with a straightforward but impactful comment. To get shaken out at $2, I didn't purchase XRP for 10 cents. This resilient, patient, and unshakable approach is becoming more and more common. Veterans like Barry C. are looking well beyond the charts that many novice investors monitor as they go up and down. He isn't considering $3 or even $10. He wants to reach $20, $50, or even $100. Short-term noise is just noise to him. His objective is generational wealth, the kind that, should XRP reach $100, would result in a $1 million payout from a modest $1,000 investment at 10 cents. Barry C. is also not by himself. According to CryptoGeek, several central banks have indeed internally estimated the value of XRP to be as high as $10,000. Even though that figure may seem absurd, it's plenty to inspire confidence and mobilize the soldiers in a market where tails drive momentum. The XRP Chancellor's tweet makes the argument quite clear. I'm here for $10,000 XRP, but most folks will sell for $10. Profit is no longer the only consideration. It all comes down to patience, conviction, and vision. There are even more audacious forecasts circulating. According to a recent report by Crypto Sensei, experts currently believe that there is a 90% likelihood that XRP will overtake Ethereum this cycle. In terms of market capitalization, that would put XRP ahead of Ethereum, a significant change that, if it materializes, would fundamentally alter the balance of power in cryptocurrency. XRP enthusiasts are kept riveted to their charts by the mere prospect. Next is the widely shared post by Ripple Queen. Purchasing. XRP now is comparable to purchasing real estate in 19th century Manhattan. XRP is a wealth that spans generations. It's a powerful metaphor that perfectly encapsulates the essence of our movement. The idea that a piece of farmland would one day become the most valuable property in the world was unthinkable back then. Some XRP investors see today's pricing in precisely that way, a unique time before the rest of the world catches up. However, not everyone believes that XRP will suddenly reach 4 or 5 figures. More moderate forecasts from websites like Telegon and Changelly indicate that XRP may hit $160 or $280 by 2040-2050. However, even such cautious projections would result in enormous profits for early investors. And for the overly optimistic, these cautious forecasts are just motivation to work even harder. The present stalling of XRP can seem like a holding pattern. However, it's an accumulating phase for long-term investors. The lull before the storm is here. One thing is for sure, regardless of whether the next move is $10, $100, or much more, the army of XRP is not going to back down. They're digging in, doubling down, and placing bets that this is only the start. Naturally, none of this occurs in a vacuum. Ripple is an expert in its field. In the background, they are establishing partnerships, closing transactions, and putting XRP at the center of a brand new financial system. The current situation is seismic, not merely bullish. Most people are unaware that Ripple is methodically and quietly taking over the world stage. Therefore, even though the price of XRP may appear to be stable at first glance, there is a global movement that is everything but. If you know where to look, there is ample proof that Ripple is causing a massive upheaval in the financial system. One of the most telling signs is directly from the court case against the SEC. More than 1,700 non-disclosure agreements, or NDAs, have been inked by Ripple with governments, payment processors, and financial institutions worldwide. This isn't conjecture. Emily, a cryptocurrency analyst, noted that these NDAs were revealed in formal court records. They are genuine and reflect institutional interest on a scale that few market participants really understand. Ripple is discussing more than just worldwide acceptance. Behind closed doors, it is actively constructing the plumbing of a new financial universe. Why is there so much secrecy? Because noise bothers institutions. They bide their time. They put it to the test. Develop in silence. Institutions don't move until the regulatory green light flashes, as Emily mentioned. Until the rules catch up. These NDAs act as legal firewalls, safeguarding back-end integrations, compliance testing, and early-stage pilots. Those agreements might take effect practically immediately once regulatory clarity is obtained, which is something we're getting very close to. Sal Gilberti, the CEO of Teucrium, has made a daring and eye-opening declaration. We support XRP. For this reason, we go with XRP. The coin having the greatest utility is XRP. There is a real use for XRP. Simply put, there is no question about it. While XRP has a real use case, Bitcoin is a store of value. A group of experts, including investment bankers, make up Ripple. They'll manage to make this work. It is uncommon for institutional actors to exhibit that degree of confidence, and it says volumes. A dream is not being sold by Ripple. With its speed, affordability, and adherence to ISO 2022, XRP is delivering infrastructure and is intended to be the system's lifeblood. The last step is the SEC complaint settlement. The organizations that created those 1,700 NDAs won't have any legal justification for postponing once it's formally closed. And when they do, we might see a sharp increase in demand for XRP, not due to retail hype, but rather to actual global usage. There could be a significant price impact if even a small percentage of those institutions start using XRP-based payment flows. Global banks, central banks, and enterprise-level suppliers are all requesting immediate liquidity, and they are all directing volume through a single digital asset created specifically for that use. XRP isn't attempting to be money, to put it briefly. It is attempting to transfer global funds, and that's more likely to drive its price into uncharted territory than excitement or conjecture. Oh, and the whales have just illuminated the blockchain with enigmatic, enormous XRP transfers. Some have hundreds of millions of dollars. No explanations, no announcements, just calculated, quiet actions. This is not a pastime of theirs. They move quickly and are positioning. Behind the scenes, something significant is developing. You won't want to miss what comes next, I promise. Large transactions, therefore, frequently indicate a more complex, calculated move in the cryptocurrency sector. The well-known blockchain tracker Whale Alert recently noticed a huge movement of 98.2 million XRP, valued at over $220 million, to a freshly active wallet. This is significant because there have only been 2 incoming transactions to this new wallet, including this massive XRP transfer. There are 2 main options when such a large quantity of XRP is suddenly involved. Either an existing whale is moving their assets around, or it's an over-the-counter transaction signaling the arrival of a new whale in the market. In any event, these developments bring up significant issues regarding XRP's future. Whales, the major market participants who own substantial quantities of any particular asset, are frequently regarded as important catalysts for changes in cryptocurrency prices. Whales have the financial clout to influence market sentiment through their activities, whereas regular investors typically make smaller trades. It's more than a simple transfer when a whale moves a sizable quantity of XRP. It can be an indication to the rest of the market that a significant event is imminent. As more people follow suit, either to emulate the whales or because they anticipate a price spike, this could signal an imminent increase in buying pressure. The time of these transfers should also be taken into consideration. A whale purchasing. A lot of XRP might be putting themselves in a position to benefit from either significant institutional adoption or regulatory clarity, both of which are anticipated to drive up the price. There is less supply available as more whales hoard XRP in significant amounts, which tightens the market and could lead to a price squeeze. Sometimes these massive transactions involve more than just the transfer of assets, especially those that take place behind the scenes. They are laying the groundwork for a potentially bullish rise. The impatience of investors is rising. Whales' actions, however, point to a calm confidence. They are setting themselves up for the price spike that may occur as a result of more institutional investment, wider adoption, and more transparent regulatory frameworks. It appears plausible that these whales are preparing for a time when XRP will be a crucial component of the global financial system. When that time comes, these pioneers will be sitting on enormous profits. The market reacts when Whales takes action. The rest of the cryptocurrency world is anxiously awaiting these big transfers, wondering if this is the quiet before the storm or if the first indications of a huge price shift are on the horizon. In any case, one thing is obvious. These whales are laying the groundwork for something much more significant than simply moving XRP. The only thing left to ask is, what do you think about that? Do you have high hopes for the XRP Ripple token? What do you think will happen? Tell me in the space provided for comments. I'd like to know. Consequently, this concludes the video. I appreciate you watching. Please remember to hit the like button, leave a comment with your ideas or questions, and, most importantly, remember to subscribe if you found the information informative and enjoyable.